Some of you here today are like me. You grew up in church and your parents handed down faith to you. And at some point as an adult, you kind of have to wrestle with that a little bit and make it your own. At some point, you have to, wrestle through the things you learned in Sunday school because they don't really add up to the real world, and you have to make your path on your own. But you've been set up for something so fantastic. But I know that there's lots of people in this room who are new to faith. And you didn't grow up in the same kind of family I did, with the same kind of dad that I did. I'm painfully aware of that. But here's what I really want to share with you today. My parents didn't grow up in faith either. They actually didn't get saved until they were in their 30s. And God did a miraculous thing in their life. They were the first people on both sides of their family to come to know the Lord. And he changed their lives. He called my dad to plant a church in our small town where I grew up, and my dad pastored there for 35 years. But I remember as a little girl, they were reorganizing their life around the things of faith. It was stuff they didn't know, and here they were. In their 30s, they had 5 kids. My brothers were all teenagers. I was a little girl, and they were trying to rearrange their life. And can I tell you this? They didn't always get it right. But the one thing that I remember from my childhood is that my parents wanted their lives to please God more than anything. And they pursued him. You know, if there was a meeting happening anywhere within a driving radius of our town, we were there. They were hungry and they were learning and growing. And like I said, they weren't perfect. They didn't get it all right. They were just learning how to be Christians, and God was pushing them out of their comfort zone. He was asking them to step out in faith. But I knew that they loved God more than anything. And so I know that many of you here in this room have come to faith later in life, just like my parents did. And I know that you're doing your best to reorganize your life around your faith. But I wonder if sometimes you carry a little bit of guilt and you wonder, what if? What if I had known sooner? Maybe I could have made a bigger impact on my kids in the area of faith. I would have raised them differently. I would have done things differently. Because I know in your heart, you want that promise, right? You want to see your kids grab onto faith, and you want to see them run with it and do even better than you and have an even bigger impact on their generation than you've had on yours. I know that. But I know that there's parents here who probably are feeling like, I wish I could have done more. And I'm here to tell you today, there's good news. Because God's promises have no statute of limitations. They're not limited by time. They're not even limited by your past. God's promises are true and they're everlasting. And he brings his character to back up his word. And he loves you. And this promise is for you today. I want to pray specifically for those parents who are here, who are feeling like, I wish I'd done better. I wish I knew sooner. And if you're honest, sometimes maybe you just feel a little bit guilty. I believe God wants to take that today. And I believe he wants to sink this promise deep into your heart, that it doesn't matter how old your kids are. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you're reorganizing your life around the things of faith, if you're putting God first and you're pursuing him with everything you have, he has promised, when you build my house, I will build your house. And he is just as concerned, if not more, for your children than you are. And he is pursuing them with his love and his grace, just like he pursued you and brought you into his family.